Hello, and welcome to the Art of Emergency Nursing podcast. This is where we share stories for inspiration, entertainment, and encouragement, because we all know emergency nurses have the best stories. Now here's your host, Kevin McFarland.
Let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know.
My name's Naomi Ishioka, and I am from just north of Detroit in Michigan. And I've been a nurse since 1999. So I think if I think back to what I like the very most about being an ER nurse, it's the feeling that, every single day that I get to go to work and work on the floor, I get to touch people where they're having the worst day of their life, and I can make it just a little bit better. And that's always been my thing in the ER. I've kind of stepped a little bit away from being just an ER nurse now. I'm actually the disaster preparedness coordinator for the hospital. But I've always kept a bedside position, contingent somewhere, or casual somewhere, simply because I like that. I like to be able to say, I can help people.
What advice would you give a brand new emergency nurse?
So I have a daughter who just got accepted into the nursing program, and I know I'm super excited about her. Her name is Natalie. And I always tell her, just always keep your eyes focused on being able to help other people. That's of her nature. It's always been of her nature. And this is one profession where we get paid to do that. And it gives you a purpose in life.
What's something every ER nurse should know?
Every ER nurse should know to take care of themselves. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. I think at the beginning of this pandemic, I kind of forgot that. And I worked. I was working 16-hour days, digging for masks. I'll never forget there was a day where we actually were running out of ventilators in the hospital. And I stayed late. I was exhausted. I realized at the end of 16 hours that I hadn't eaten. And you cannot function at your best when you don't take care of yourself. I've gone to where I intentionally and purposefully do something every day to take care of myself, whether it's, I actually have a little book of 5-minute readings that I keep on my desk. And every single day, I carve out a little bit of time just to do that for myself. And that really, really helps, I think, helps keep me in my right mindset. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of those other people.
Hi, I'm Bill Schuler. I am from Portland, Oregon area, and I've been a nurse for now 22 years.
Holy cow, it's a long time. What's something every ER nurse should know?
Every ER nurse should know some basic safety skills.
Like
Personal protection. So if you know that you're going to go into a room with a agitated or anxious patient, take stuff off your body. Even looking at stuff that's in the room that could be used against you, what they call weapons of opportunity. You don't need that stethoscope around your neck all the time, which you shouldn't have it around your neck anyway.
We've had that conversation before.
We have.
So, and what advice would you give to a brand new ER nurse?
Brand new ER nurse, I would say ask for help a lot. You don't quite know what you don't know yet. So it's always good to have a peer check. And hopefully you're on a unit that has people willing to help you, that don't feel like your questions are stupid, because they're not. And I've seen it where you make an assumption of what you know, and you really don't, and you can end up harming somebody.
Yeah, that'd be bad. So first, tell us who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been a nurse.
I am Mindy Aleda. I am the Sacramento chapter president, and I've been a nurse for almost 25 years.
What's something every ER nurse should know?
Where the bathroom is at work.
Very important to know. What advice would you give a brand new emergency nurse?
As far as a brand new emergency nurse I come across, the most important thing is that you never stop learning. Always find your go-to mentor wherever you're at, every opportunity, and join a professional organization, just as Emergency Nurses Association, to enhance your learning for lifelong networking.
Perfect. And what do you like most about being an ER nurse?
I think the versatility, the variety as an ER nurse, because I was a traveler for 7 years, and I think knowing once you've got your skills down after 5+ years, get your trauma experience, you realize no matter what state or what city you go to, you can still tag on to your existing skills no matter where you are. Even though I've been a multiple charge nurse in various ER settings, trauma centers, there's still something around the corner that's something new that I can relearn.
My name is Mona Kelly. I'm from the Nashville, Tennessee area. I live on a little farm north of Nashville. Nobody ever heard of the town, so I always tell people Nashville. And I have been a nurse for 42 years.
Holy cow, that's awesome. What advice do you give brand new emergency nurses?
Never think you know it all. Always listen to your mentors. Question if you have questions when the doc says something you don't agree with or you haven't learned. Ask them why. But never stop learning. My goal every day is to learn something new, and you can always learn something new.
That's awesome. And what's something every ER nurse should know?
Take care of yourself.
That's good advice. How do we do that? Because we're really good at taking care of other people, not so good at taking care of ourselves.
Very true. Very true. As we have heard earlier today, self-care is really, really important. Taking time for yourself, if it's reflection or journaling or eating better or, 15 minutes of exercise a day or getting away. It's not always easy when you work in the emergency department, but you need to take that time.
Tell us your name, where you're from, and how long you've been a nurse.
Lisa Rauman, Roseville, California. And I've been a nurse for 17 years.
Okay. What advice do you have for brand new emergency nurses?
Ooh, find that person. Not the cool person, not the person who seems like nothing affects them, but find that person you want to emulate and just watch them. Just watch them and figure it out. You find your person and it'll set the tone for the rest of your career.
I love that advice. It's perfect advice. What's something every ER nurse should know?
Sleep is important.
Sleep is a good thing. Sleep is a beautiful thing.
Hi, my name is Paige Kessler. I'm from Ruidoso, New Mexico. I work at Lincoln County Medical Center, and I have been a nurse for almost 5 years. We're at 4.5 right now.
Awesome. And what advice do you have for brand new emergency nurses?
A brand new emergency nurse, I would tell them don't give up and don't be afraid to ask questions. You don't know what you don't know. Look for others for support. And I would also tell them to reach out. Use your resources. Use, education. Use your doctors that have been in the field for a long time, and look up policies and procedures on your own, because you'll remember them better.
Awesome. Love that answer. And what's something every ER nurse should know?
I think every nurse should know that it takes a team. It takes everybody. It takes your techs. It takes your doctor. It takes your lab technicians to work together to provide the best care for the patient.
Great answer. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
My name is Charlene. I'm from Rhode Island. I've been a nurse for 30 years.
Holy cow, that's awesome. What's something every ER nurse should know?
Patience. So I think that when you approach a stranger and you want to take care of them, that you have to have patience. It takes more than a minute to develop a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be able to develop that relationship, you have to have patience to understand where they're coming from.
That's awesome. And what new advice do you have for brand new emergency nurses?
Oh, so that's my forte, brand new emergency nurses, one day at a time.
My name is Chris Dellinger. I'm from Mineral Wells, West Virginia. I've been a nurse for 32 years, and 25 of those years have been in emergency department and trauma.
That's awesome. Why ER?
Well, interestingly enough, when I went to nursing school, I always thought I wanted to be an OB nurse until I went and did my rotations in the emergency department. And I learned very quickly that I didn't want to deliver babies the rest of my career. And I really liked the passion that I was experiencing when I was in the ED from the nurses that were there. That was actually, they were my mentors as in my last my last clinicals with a mentor in the ED. And I spent a lot of time with that individual, and I really liked the uncertainty of knowing what was coming in. And what I liked the most about it was I had to know everything, right, to be an ED nurse. So it kept my skills sharp from infancy clear up to geriatric.
What advice do you give a brand new emergency nurse?
The advice that I get is make sure that you tap into somebody that is a mentor there that can really help you and really guide you along the way, and never be afraid to ask questions and know who your resources are.
And what's something every ER nurse should know?
I think the most important thing is knowing who your resources are and knowing where to go when you need something, because there's somebody in the department that knows something more than you, and you can always learn from that individual.
Okay, I'm Christine Russey. I'm from the state of Texas, and I've been in the emergency department for about 40 years.
Holy cow. All right. Not the longest I've had today, but that's a long time.
Okay.
What's some advice you give to a brand new emergency nurse?
I would say for a brand new emergency nurse that you want to keep learning, find yourself a really good mentor who can guide you, and set goals. Know that you don't know everything, but know that you're going to make a difference in that person's life, especially since it could be the worst day of their life.
Absolutely. And what's something every ER nurse should know?
To expect the unexpected, and more importantly, know what you don't know, and know that you're going to learn something new every day, and know that you're a team and you're never alone.
Awesome. Love it.
Hi, my name is Meredith Holder. I am from San Francisco, California, and I've been a nurse for 10 years.
Awesome. So what advice would you give a brand new emergency nurse?
So brand new nurses are my passion. I started as a new grad in the ED myself.
Awesome.
And I like to say that the ED life chose me. I didn't choose it. It was the only job I applied for and the only job I got an interview for. So
that's super cool.
Yeah. So, but I guess my biggest advice to somebody that's coming in is that know that you're never alone. That you should always have that team behind you. That teamwork mentality is what makes ED nursing so great.
Perfect. And what's something every ER nurse should know?
I'm trying to like the same thing, honestly. It's like, always rely on your team. I've worked in teaching hospitals my entire career, and, nurses are awesome, and doctors are there to support us too. So we keep that team mentality for everything.
That's awesome.
My name is Chris Barnes. I live in North Carolina in a small community called Four Oaks, which is about an hour southeast of Raleigh, our state capital. And I've been a nurse now for 27 years.
Holy cow, that's a long time. What advice do you give brand new emergency nurses?
I always look to the teamwork approach between the physicians and the nurses and everyone. You will not survive if you try to be a maverick in the ED. You have to have that teamwork approach, and that includes everyone from, like I said, the doctors, the nurses, the techs, whoever you're working with. Everybody has their own role.
Absolutely. What's something every ER nurse should know?
Every ER nurse should know. Let's see. I would say that every ER nurse should know that this too shall pass. even in the midst of COVID, this too shall pass. And if today's a crappy day, tomorrow hopefully will be a little bit better.
Love that advice. Much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing this. Thank you. I appreciate you doing it. That's right. That's right.
Hey, sweetie, do you like old boobs? Huh? What's the question we're saying?
So, what advice would you give a brand new emergency nurse? And then
run away.
Run away! Don't do it. And then what advice would you give a brand new emergency?
Hey friends, this is Cheryl Randolph. I'm an emergency nurse in San Francisco. I work at San Francisco General Hospital. We're a level 1 trauma center, which means at any one time I've got little baby doctors, baby nurses, travelers, fellows, attendings, residents, interns. It's happy chaos, but I like it. And it's a good time.
Awesome. What's something every ER nurse should know?
Every ER nurse should know you're not in this alone. That's the most important thing. I love ER because it's a team sport. I don't think I could ever do something like home health where you're out there on your own. I like having backup. I like knowing that I can shout and yell and someone is there to help me out. So what every ER nurse needs to remember is that you're not alone. Give a shout. Let us know what you need. And if you can get the words out to let us know what you want, we will do it for you.
What advice would you give a brand new emergency nurse?
Hey, brand new nurses, my advice is learn as much as you can. Read everything you can. Latch onto a mentor. Find who you consider to be the smartest person in your ER and saddle up to them. How's that go? Sidle up to them and let them know that you are dedicated and willing and want to learn and try to suck their brain dry, because it's kind of like the Matrix. Try to learn things as much by glomming onto them as going to a class or such. So find that smart person, glom onto them, make them your bestie, and you'll be that smart person someday.
Thanks for listening to the Art of Emergency Nursing podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Facebook.